if I'm going to sell coffee, do I want to sell you the worst tasting coffee on earth or the best tasting coffee? It's pretty simple. What do you want to drink? Do you want to drink unhealthy coffee? Or do you want to drink coffee that makes you healthy? Obvious questions. How many wants to drink healthy coffee? How many want you to drink unhealthy coffee? How many drink coffee today? You all drink unhealthy coffee. You drink a product that will damage your heart, damage your liver, damage your brain, cause cancer. Yeah, it does all of those. And you drank it this morning. Why? Because you like the taste and it gives you a pickup, right? Because they're using the lowest quality coffee beans in the world. The Robusta bean is the foundation of it. It's different than the Arabic. The Arabic has 4 chromosomes, Robusta has 2. It's the most bitter coffee on earth and is the most highly caffeinated. But it grows in the lowlands. It's the biggest bean. It takes in a lot of moisture. It grows in sour lime soils, see? So there it is. That's the Robusta coffee. A couple of days ago, Roxy and I went to the Colosseum in Rome. I put that in my bucket list. I went to the Vatican. I put that in my bucket list. So, it's kind of fun. How would you like to go to those places? How would you like to go to Machu Picchu? How would you like to go to Tahiti? You know, how would you like it to be tax deductible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Want to go to Australia, New Zealand? Tax deductible. You see, because we do business there in those places. And that's what Peter is talking about. How many of you drink coffee? Most of you here in the room, 85% of the population drinks coffee. We have discovered the world's the best tasting coffee in Japan. A pound, less than a pound of this. 12 ounces, if you will. 360 grams of it. Sells for between $150 and $300 in Japan. Starbucks sells it in some of their locations for between $100 and $130 for that bag. Ours costs in the 20s. Same bean that they're doing. What's the difference? Well, when you buy coffee, you have to go through, anyone writing this down? About 8 middlemen by the time it gets to the consumer. Everybody taking a gouge out of it. Now what is that? I have the world's best tasting coffee and you can buy it at prices that it costs you just, you know, small amount. I like coffee you buy, but it's the world's best tasting. Because we're buying directly from the manufacturer who bypasses all the middlemen and buys the world's best coffee bean. Did you know the coffee's bad for you? Yeah, I know. It's sort of like cigarette smoking, not as bad, but it causes cancer, it damages the heart, all of those things. It can cause stress and irritation. But this coffee is not roasted, it's cooked. It's 200 degrees less. When you roast it, you destroy all the good properties. When you cook it, you enrich them so they become delicious. And that's one of the reasons this is the best. But the second thing, this is the #1 rated coffee bean in the world according to the World Coffee Association Taster's Cup. Do you know where the beans that are used in your competition come from? Where it ranks? They rank about 60 or 61 on the Taster's Cup. It's #1 bean in the world. Starbucks sells it. You can see it only in a few stores because most people want the world's best tasting coffee, but they won't pay $100, not a pound, for actually 3/4 of a pound, 12 ounces, if you will, 360 grams. It costs between $100 and $120 or $130 at Starbucks. And they only carry it in some of their stores where people can afford to pay that kind of money and will for the world's best tasting coffee, unquestionably superior to all others in the world. Okay? We sell it everywhere to everyone because it costs about the same price as a regular cup of coffee. See? You know the coffee's bad for you, don't you? You know it damages the heart, it causes cancer, it can affect the liver, the brain, it makes you age faster, but we drink it because we like the pickup and it tastes pretty good. Now you've tasted the world's best tasting, but since we are the manufacturer, we're the only ones really putting it out this way. And we don't roast it, we cook it so we don't destroy all those tremendous benefits that coffee has, because you know, actually coffee can make you lose weight if it's not roasted, if it's not burnt crisp like toast so they can grind it. So we cook it so those oils are brought to perfection. That's why it smelled so good and tasted so good. And so that aroma when you first smell your coffee before you drink it, most coffee smells great. This smells delicious because it is delicious because it's cooked, not roasted. Did you write that down? In our system we have a cryogenic grinder. It takes it down to 150 degrees below zero because freeze drying on instant coffee destroys 85% of the properties of coffee. Do that. We want to give you an instant coffee or a brewed coffee, and so we don't freeze dry ours. We're the only one that doesn't. We micro grind it. Even Starbucks, where they use 2 to 8%, micro grind the Panamanian bouquet coffee. So for me to be able to bring it to you so you can have these benefits, I have to go and buy directly from the pickers in their little associations and from the smaller haciendas that want to compete with the big haciendas growing massive amounts of it. And it only grows in Peru or in Colombia because that is where the bean grows, and it grows at the highest elevation. I'm giving you, ask me a question about coffee. You're getting the whole shimole here. It grows at the highest elevation. What's the difference between the highest elevation and the lowest elevation? You get more sunshine. More sunshine not just doesn't make it grow better, it sunburns things really bad. You go to the tops of the mountain, you get sunburned a lot faster with that because there's less atmosphere to protect it. And a coffee bean growing at sea level has got a lot of pollution before the sun gets to it, so it doesn't have to respond so much to protect itself. At the highest elevations, those coffees won't grow. They're not designed for it, but this one is. It's designed and been cultivated to hybrids, if you will. Now that's not GMO, see? It's not genetically modified, it's hybrid. And just like apples are hybrids, see? But it grows up there and it gets so much cosmetic radiation that it responds by producing things to protect it against it, just like your skin darkens when you're in the sun to protect it against the sun. And those things are called flavonoids. Flavor. Coffee, coffee. Richer, stronger, and it tastes much better when it's grown at the highest elevation. And the other thing, most all coffees grow in sour soils because that's where the big populations and the masses are. This grows in an area where for some reason, geological reason, volcanoes there emit ash that is sweet. And so it grows in sweet soil. And that ash is decomposed for tens of millions of years and it's sweet. So the soil is sweet, the bean is sweet, it's grown at the highest elevation. So the production of the flavonoids, the flavor, is at the highest, and all of the health properties are at the highest. Now, is that not enough to make you buy the coffee? Right there? Smell it, see? It's so good, and we micro grind it. So it dissolves. Or if you have a brew, we have the ground coffee.
So can I ask some questions in terms of the components that you put in the coffee with Chaka?
And that, see, I've sold the first part. So now if that wasn't enough, see, Peter's right with the flow. Then the next thing, we've made it even better. Because now this coffee, as the Alzheimer's Association says, this may be the answer to Alzheimer's. Because there's a mysterious ingredient in coffee that will build clusters of brain cells that will fill in holes in brain and fill in the brain with new brain cells that's in coffee that's destroyed if you freeze dry it, destroyed if you roast it, destroyed if you decaffeinate it. But they don't know what it is, but they know what it does. And they said, coffee could be the answer, except coffee's made wrong. Ours is made right. So now this coffee isn't bad for the brain. It's good for the brain. It builds a better brain for you. It also builds a stronger heart. It's not bad for the heart. It doesn't cause cancer. It fights cancer. Now in California, they're very environmentalistic, and if you go into any place that sells coffee, supermarket, Dunkin' Donuts, a Starbucks, McDonald's, they have to have a sign, warning, cancer, coffee causes cancer. It's the law. Because why? Coffee causes cancer. Okay? So Ganoderma, sure, it's got some health benefits, but it's not the king of herbs. It's like saying a chicken is the king of strawberries. You know? Makes as much sense. You see? Plant, animal, two different things. It isn't. An herb. is an herb. A fungus is a fungus. In funguses, and a lot of people study funguses, especially they do in Japan, Korea, Russia, China. And you know what they say there? The most powerful fungus in the world is chaga, C-H-A-G-A. And in comparison, and you can see that even on the internet, chaga is over 100 times more powerful than Ganoderma and doesn't have the side effects of Ganoderma. So do you want a fungus in there that somebody mistakenly thinks is an herb? What does that really tell you about their expertise? You see? Okay. But the Chinese do say that chaga is the greatest medicinal ingredient found in nature. And science now say it's the most nutritionally dense product on earth. But it doesn't grow as a fungus does. This grows on the side of white bark, what trees that are aspen, birch, in the far north. And because of that, because of the extreme cold, the extreme environment, chaga has massive power. It will bring your 1 cup of coffee and your immune system is higher than that of a newborn baby with 1 cup of coffee. Fight cancer, man, this thing is a powerhouse. To fight it, to prevent it. Do you want to prevent it? Do you want to fight it? If you want to fight it, if you don't want to get cancer, drink our coffee. Because you have the best chance. Because the coffee fights cancer. And the chaga is the most powerful thing on earth to fight it. The different varieties too is. So now it fights cancer, builds the heart, rebuilds the liver, builds the brain. So how can we make it better? We can add things to it because we're a biochemical manufacturing company. And we know what in biochemistry really works. And so do we put some Ganoderma in it? Yes, we do. Why do we do it? Because it has some benefit, and our competitors really use it. Immunity comes up, the regeneration comes up from chaga. It's enormously powerful. So now, if the coffee builds the brain, should we throw something else in it to build the brain even better? And how about the whole neurological system that goes through your body? The answer just means yes. Yeah, why don't we do that? Would you like that in your coffee? Besides a little Ganoderma in the world's worst tasting coffee? You see? So we put Bacopa, B-A-C-O-P-A. Now remember, with both chaga and Bacopa, they are not just chaga. We take the active extracts, concentrate them to almost 100% purity, and then we put them in. So you don't have the things that are part of the system that grows. You have the actives. This is the active ingredient. In Ganoderma, they say, yeah, we crack the spores into patented position. You'll hear your competition in a patented process where you have the highest purity. Well, there's about 5 different patents. A patent doesn't mean that it's the best in the world. It just means it's patented to do that. But now Bacopa comes, and we take the Bacopa extracts, and they revitalize an old brain. They repair the memory circuits. They remove the oxidation. It makes the brain so it functions a lot better. So since coffee is already building new brain cells, let's remodel the old brain while we do it. So now we have Bacopa and the whole nervous system are doing that. Now, Gotu Kola rebuilds the heart and the whole cardiovascular system. So now what is coffee? What is coffee? It's bad for you. It's foul tasting, it's okay tasting, it's good tasting, or it's fabulous. Which one do you want?